Hello, this is Dr. Eric Bricker, and thank you for watching A Healthcare Z. Today's topic is the future of healthcare profits. Now, today's video is based upon a recent report from McKinsey that's entitled The Future of U.S. Healthcare. Well, shoot, McKinsey has the reputation of having some of the smartest people in business in the entire world. So if McKinsey has a report that describes the quote-unquote future of healthcare in America, then we should probably look at it. Now, it specifically looks at what profits are going to look like in 2025. So it's looking out into the future and it's saying, okay, how are profits going to be found in the U.S. healthcare system? And it breaks it down into several categories. So number one is the payer category. In other words, like Blue Cross, United, Cigna, Aetna, so commercial insurance plans. They say there's they expect $57 billion of profits in sort of traditional health insurance by 2025. And then it further analyzes, okay, well, where are these profits going to come from? And interestingly, McKinsey, again, some of the smartest people out there say, look, what drives insurance carrier profits is government programs. All the growth in insurance carrier profits is in Medicare, specifically Medicare Advantage and managed Medicaid. In other words, health insurance companies running the Medicaid programs for the states. Okay, so it's not ASO services, it's not employer-sponsored health insurance. Growth for insurance companies is not from employer-sponsored health insurance. It's not for ASO services for self-funded. It's not for fully insured groups. It is for their government programs. So just know that when you are an employer, the future of your carrier is not you. The future of the carrier is the government. Okay, so just know it's not you. All right, next up, RX services. Okay, it says there's $62 billion of profit for RX services. What's another name for RX services? They're not talking about literally the production of the pills themselves. They're talking about the PBM. Aha! Notice, in 2025, the profit opportunity for PBMs is $62 billion. The profit opportunity for just the insurance carrier operations is $57 billion. In other words, there's more profit to be made in the PBM business than in the insurance carrier business. Wonder why all the health insurance companies run PBMs? Because they know there's more money in the PBM space than there is in actually providing health insurance services. Okay. Specifically, it's in specialty pharmacy and infusion medications. Okay, next up, the next largest area is in healthcare services and in information technology. They say there's $68 billion of profit available in 2025. That's their prediction. Okay, what in the world are healthcare services and IT? Okay, things like revenue cycle. In other words, helping hospitals and physicians get paid from the insurance company themselves and from the government themselves is a huge area of profit for healthcare companies. What else is it? It's healthcare software and analytics is a huge opportunity. In fact, the fastest compound growth rate in excess of, close to 17% per year is actually in the healthcare software space. So of all this stuff up here, the stuff that's going to quote unquote grow the fastest according to McKinsey is specifically in the healthcare software. Okay, now, but that's fine. The mother of all profit opportunities in U.S. healthcare is on the provider side. It's for the hospitals and the physicians and the imaging centers and the ambulatory surgery centers. It's in the provision of healthcare. Look, $326 billion of profit opportunity is expected in 2025 by McKinsey. It dwarfs all these other ones. And McKinsey says, look, more than half of that profit is going to come from outpatient services. They said, in fact, the 50 largest hospital systems today in America, more than half of their revenue comes from outpatient services. So if you're an employer-sponsored plan, don't be like, well, if we just decrease our hospitalizations, then the healthcare systems won't take as much money from us. No! Listen, they'll still take money from you. It's just going to be taken from you in the outpatient setting as opposed to the inpatient setting. So just know that there's tremendous opportunity for hospital systems to make gobs of money by 2025 as well. Now, if you add up the $57 billion plus the $62 billion plus the $68 billion plus the $326 billion, you come up with $513 billion of profit in 1 year alone, in 2025. McKinsey is projecting that $513 billion of profit is going to be made in 2025 in U.S. healthcare. Okay, if you divide that by about approximately the 332 million people in America, that's $1,545 of profit for every single person in America. That's $1,500 of profit for every man, woman, and child in America. You can think of it as basically the extra money that it takes to basically grease the wheels of healthcare in America, right? That $1,500 doesn't go to the provision of care. That $1,500 goes other places. It goes to where profits go. We won't get into where profits go, but that's just where the $1,500, it just goes out into the profit universe. Okay, what's that called? $1,500, over $1,500 per person per year. Okay, if that's $28,000 over the course of a childhood, essentially that $1,500 per year is like the tax. It's like the U.S. healthcare system tax is $1,500 per person per year. What's that called? That means a family of four has a healthcare tax, a U.S. healthcare system tax of $6,000 per family per year. Well, if you take the $1,500 and you multiply it by 18 years, that means over the course of a childhood, a child has paid $28,000 in U.S. healthcare system tax. Okay, that's money that could be spent on saving for college. That could be spent on daycare. That could be spent on sending them to a private school instead of a public school. So, there's a huge opportunity cost to this healthcare tax. Okay, what's that called? What's that $1,500 if you multiply it by a 40-year career working from 25 to 65? That's $62,000 of U.S. healthcare system tax. Okay, the average person has about $99,000 in savings at retirement age at 65. So you mean to tell me that the U.S. healthcare system tax is about 2/3 of the entire savings? You could increase a person's savings for retirement by about 66% if you just took their healthcare tax and put it in their retirement. Okay, so we deal with these numbers like 513 billion, and you're like, well, that just seems like a large number. But if you put it into context, it's almost like the extortion. The U.S. healthcare system extorts $1,500 per person per year from everybody in America, and that's what it means. Okay, so fine. So I'm looking at this strategy from McKinsey, and I'm scratching my head, and I'm like, that's exactly what UnitedHealth Group is doing. What McKinsey is outlining here is essentially the UnitedHealth Group strategy. Okay, so for United, they're the number one provider of Medicare Advantage in America is UnitedHealth Group, right? So they know that government programs is where the money's at, and that's why they're number one in Medicare Advantage. Okay, 2, for PBM services, they have a PBM group purchasing organization called MSR that's located in Ireland, which is where companies go to provide a tax haven and a tax shelter for their U.S. revenues. Okay, so they're no dummies. They're looking at their $62 billion of RX revenue, of RX profit opportunity, and they're having it run through Ireland. Okay, next up, for services and information technology, that's what Optum Insight is. Optum Insight actually takes over the revenue cycle for hospitals. UnitedHealth Group charges hospitals to collect the money from itself. What a great idea. Okay, next up. Okay, providers. UnitedHealth Group is the largest employer of doctors in America. They were employed and quote-unquote aligned physicians. There's 60,000 doctors that are employed or aligned with UnitedHealth Group, more than anyone else. So the question is McKinsey just parroting United's strategy, or is United just copying McKinsey's strategy? Well, it's unclear. We know that McKinsey and United work together because McKinsey it came out in the lawsuit when the U.S. government sued United to try to stop them from acquiring Change Healthcare. It came out that United had hired McKinsey to consult them, to tell them what to do about this acquisition. So we know that McKinsey and United work together. So isn't it interesting that the future that McKinsey sees for healthcare is UnitedHealth Group? And that's an interesting point because UnitedHealth Group essentially is healthcare in America. UnitedHealth Group's market capitalization is $462 billion. Okay, that dwarfs every other healthcare company in America. Okay, the second largest healthcare company in America is Elevance, what used to be called Anthem. Right, their market capitalization is only $117 billion. CVS is only $115 billion. Cigna's 91 billion. Humana's only 63 billion. Centene's 41 billion. And Walgreens only 31 billion. So if you add up the market capitalization for Element, CVS, Cigna, Humana, Centene, and Walgreens, like, it doesn't even equal United's. United itself is larger than all these other healthcare companies. So United is the US healthcare system. Like, we shouldn't even call it the US healthcare system. I should argue we should rename it the UnitedHealth Group system. We don't work in healthcare, we work in the UnitedHealth Group system. So if you want to see the future of what healthcare might look like, then I would encourage you to read this report, and then I would encourage you to say, maybe the future of US healthcare is UnitedHealth Group. And that's my point for today. Thank you for watching A Healthcare Z.